My wife thought she was smart cheating with a neighbor, until I installed hidden cameras and streamed it at her birthday party. What followed left the entire room in shock. I'm Gary, 34, aviation mechanic. I work on everything from Cessnas to Gulfstreams at our regional airport. The job requires obsessive attention to detail, one missed crack in a turbine blade, one loose bolt, and people die. That attention to detail is what saved me from being the pathetic husband who never saw it coming. Brooke and I had been married 6 years. She was an occupational therapist at a rehabilitation center, helping stroke victims learn to walk again. The irony isn't lost on me, she was teaching people to rebuild their lives while secretly destroying ours. We'd met at a friend's wedding, one of those situations where you lock eyes across the room and just know. Or at least I thought I knew. Wesley moved in next door 8 months ago. Recently divorced, agricultural equipment sales rep, the kind of guy who peaked in high school but still thought his charm worked on everyone. First time I met him, he gave me this firm handshake and wouldn't let go, like he was establishing dominance. I should have known then he'd be trouble. The changes started small. Brooke suddenly developed an interest in evening walks. Need to clear my head after dealing with patients all day, she'd say. Fair enough. Healthcare is stressful. Then came the new workout clothes, the extra effort with her appearance even for grocery runs, the phone that was suddenly always face down on the counter. I work 4/10s, Monday through Thursday, 10-hour shifts. Fridays were supposedly her admin days at the clinic, but I noticed she started having more team meetings and professional development sessions on Fridays. Wesley's truck, coincidentally, was often gone from his driveway those same days. The first real flag was when Wesley started showing up at our house more. Needed to borrow my socket set. Wanted advice on lawn care. Could I help him move a couch? Brooke was always conveniently around during these visits, laughing a little too hard at his SHT jokes, touching his arm when she talked. You're being paranoid, she said when I mentioned it seemed weird how often he needed things. He's going through a divorce, Gary. Remember when your brother went through his? You practically lived at his place for months helping him out. Don't be a hypocrite. Gaslighting 101. Make me feel guilty for noticing. The watch changed everything. I was rotating our mattress, something I did every 3 months to prevent sagging. Underneath, caught between the bed frame and box spring, was a Citizen Eco Drive. Not mine. I wore a Garmin for work. This was a dress watch, the kind a salesman would wear to impress clients. I put it back exactly where I found it and said nothing. That night, I watched Brooke at dinner. Really watched her. The way she checked her phone every few minutes. The smile that appeared before she even read the messages. The quick glance at me to see if I noticed. I ate my food and talked about a Learjet that came in with a bird strike, kept everything normal while my insides turned to ice. I installed the first camera the next day while she was at work. Just one, hidden in our bedroom smoke detector. I needed to know if I was crazy or if my instincts were right. The camera was motion activated, uploaded directly to a cloud server only I could access. 3 days. That's all it took. Friday afternoon, 1:47 p.m. Brooke and Wesley, in my bed. The audio was crystal clear, every moan, every God, I've wanted this all day, every he has no f-king clue. They spent 2 hours in my house, took a shower in my bathroom, drank my beer on my couch afterward like they owned the place. A weaker man would have confronted them immediately. Kicked in the door, caused a scene, probably ended up in jail. But I'm not weak, and I don't make decisions when I'm emotional. In aviation, emotional decisions kill people. I needed more. I needed everything. Over the next 2 weeks, I installed 7 more cameras. Living room, kitchen, garage, workshop, even one covering the backyard. All hidden perfectly, inside air vents, fake sprinkler heads, a wall clock I bought specifically because it had the perfect cavity. My background in aviation maintenance meant I knew how to run wires invisibly, how to tap into power sources without leaving traces. The footage I collected was comprehensive. They FK'd everywhere. The kitchen counter where we made pancakes on Sundays. The leather couch we'd saved 6 months to buy. My workshop, my sacred space where I restored vintage aircraft parts. That one hurt the most. She'd bent over my workbench while he took her from behind, her hands gripping the same vise I used to hold engine components. But it wasn't just the SX. It was the conversations afterward that really showed me who I'd married. When are you going to leave him? Wesley asked one afternoon, running his fingers through her hair as they lay NKD on our couch. Soon, she replied. I just need to figure out the money situation. Gary's methodical about finances. Everything's documented. If I leave now, I might not get much. So what's the plan? Keep playing the devoted wife. Maybe push him toward working more overtime. The more disconnected he seems, the better it looks for me in court. I can claim emotional abandonment. You're cold as ice, you know that? He laughed. I'm practical. There's a difference. I saved everything. Every encounter, every conversation, every text she sent him that appeared on our shared iPad she'd forgotten was synced. I organized it chronologically, created backups on multiple drives, even stored one in a safety deposit box at a bank across town. During this time, I was the perfect husband. Brought her flowers randomly. Cooked her favorite meals. Even suggested we plan a big party for her 32nd birthday coming up. Really? She seemed surprised. You hate parties. You only turn 32 once, I said, kissing her forehead. Invite everyone. Your parents, your sister, the whole neighborhood. Let's do it right. Her eyes lit up. Brooke loved being the center of attention, loved showing off our perfect life to others. Her parents were old money, strict Catholics who still bragged about their daughter's beautiful home and successful marriage. This party would be her chance to shine. I even suggested she invite Wesley. He's been having a rough time with the divorce, I said casually. Might be nice for him to socialize. You're sweet, she said, and I could see her mind working, probably thinking about how having him there openly would make their affair even less suspicious. What she didn't know was that I'd tracked down Wesley's soon-to-be ex-wife, Donna. Found her on LinkedIn. She worked as a payroll specialist at a manufacturing company across town. I messaged her from a throwaway account, said I was organizing a neighborhood party for my wife and wanted to extend an olive branch by inviting her, since technically she was still married to Wesley and had been part of the neighborhood before their separation. She was suspicious at first, but I played it perfectly. Mentioned how Wesley seemed to be struggling, how the neighborhood felt weird taking sides, how maybe a social event would help normalize things. She agreed to come. The party was set for Saturday, October 14th. I had 3 weeks to prepare everything. I consulted a divorce attorney without Brooke knowing. Paid cash, used a fake name for the initial consultation, just to understand my options. Colorado was a no-fault state, but infidelity could impact alimony decisions. The attorney said video evidence would be nuclear-level ammunition. I also did something that might seem petty but felt necessary. I opened a new bank account and started moving money. Nothing traceable or illegal. I just stopped my overtime deposits from going into our joint account. Rerouted them to my personal one. Canceled the automatic transfers that funded her personal shopping account. She had her own money from her job, she could use that to buy lingerie for Wesley. The week before the party, I made sure everything was perfect. Hired a catering company. Rented tables and chairs. Even got a professional sound system with a projection set up for sharing memories. The AV guy showed me how to control everything from my phone, including an override code that would lock out any other inputs once activated. Planning something special? He asked. You could say that. I edited the footage meticulously. Not everything, I'm not a complete monster. I didn't include the graphic close-ups. But I included enough. The passionate kissing. The undressing. The clear, unmistakable sounds of sex. The postcoital conversations about what a fool I was. The laughter at my expense. 43 minutes of betrayal, condensed into 8 minutes of destruction. The day of the party, I was calm. Eerily calm. Brooke noticed. You okay? You seem different today. Just want everything to be perfect for you, I said, adjusting the collar of her new dress, the one she'd bought with the money she thought I didn't know came from our savings. You're amazing, she said, kissing me. Her lips tasted like lies. Guests started arriving at 6. Her parents first, her mother clutching a gift bag probably containing another religious self-help book. Her father shook my hand with the same firm grip he'd used at our wedding, the one that said take care of my daughter or else. If only he knew. Her sister came with her hedge fund husband. Co-workers from the rehabilitation center. Neighbors from the entire street. And then Wesley walked in, bottle of wine in hand, acting surprised to see so many people. Gary, this is incredible. Brooke's lucky to have you. Thanks, man. Grab a beer, make yourself at home. 20 minutes later, Donna arrived. The look on Wesley's face was priceless, pure panic that he quickly tried to mask. Brooke noticed too, shooting me a confused glance. I just smiled and shrugged, playing the oblivious husband who thought he was doing something nice. By 8 o'clock, everyone was properly drunk on wine and small talk. Brooke was in her element, holding court in the living room, her laugh carrying over the conversations. Her parents were bragging to someone about her promotion at work. Wesley was trying to avoid Donna while she deliberately stayed within his line of sight, probably enjoying his discomfort. I clinked a knife against my glass. Everyone. Can I have your attention? I want to thank you all for coming to celebrate Brooke's birthday. 32 years of making the world a better place. Appropriate AWs from the crowd. I've put together a little video of some special moments. Brooke, this is for you. I dimmed the lights and started the projection. The first 30 seconds were normal, photos from our wedding, vacations, family gatherings. Enough to make everyone settle in, get comfortable, expect a typical sappy birthday montage. Then the first real clip hit. Wesley and Brooke in the kitchen, kissing passionately, his hands under her skirt. The audio was clear. God, I want you so bad. He's at work, we have hours. The room went silent. Not the gradual quiet of people realizing something's wrong, but the instant, absolute silence of 40 people simultaneously going into shock. The footage continued. Them walking to the bedroom, hands all over each other. The undressing. The sounds, Jesus, the sounds were undeniable. Brooke's voice, clear as day, F me harder. Right there. God, you're so much better than him. Her mother's scream cut through the air. Not a gasp, not a cry, but a full-throated scream of horror. Her father stood frozen, his face cycling through colors I didn't know human skin could achieve. Brooke lunged for the projection equipment, but I'd positioned it perfectly, high up, cables secured, everything locked down. She was screaming, turn IT off. Gary, turn IT off. But I'd already activated the override. Nothing could stop it now. The footage shifted to the workshop scene. Then the couch. Then the conversation about leaving me, about taking my money, about what a pathetic fool I was. Donna wasn't crying. She was laughing. Hysterically laughing while tears streamed down her face, the kind of laugh that sounds like breaking glass. She looked at Wesley and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You F-king piece of SHT. You said you were working on yourself. You said you needed space to figure things out." Wesley tried to run. Actually tried to bolt for the door, but Donna's brother, a construction worker I hadn't even noticed was there, body checked him into a wall. Not violently, just enough to stop him. The video ended with a screenshot of Brooke's text to Wesley, "Can't wait to F you in his bed again tomorrow. The idiot thinks I'm getting my hair done." The screen went black. I turned the lights back on. Brooke was on the floor, sobbing so hard she was hyperventilating. Her perfect makeup destroyed, her expensive dress crumpled. Her mother was being held up by her father, who looked like he'd aged 10 years in 8 minutes. Her sister was recording everything on her phone, for evidence or entertainment, I couldn't tell. I pulled out the divorce papers from my jacket pocket. Walked over to where Brooke was collapsed and placed them on the floor in front of her. "Happy birthday. You're served. The house is mine, premarital asset, remember? Your belongings will be in storage unit 47B at Secure Store on Highway 9. The keys on the kitchen counter. You have 30 days to collect them." I looked around the room at the stunned faces. For those wondering, yes, I have copies of everything. Yes, it's all legal to record in your own home. And yes, I'm done here. Enjoy the party. Everything's paid for. I walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back to Wesley, who was being cornered by Donna and her brother. "By the way, Wesley, you left your watch under my bed. It's in the garage on my workbench. The same one you F-ked my wife on. You might want to sanitize it." Then I left. Update 1, 2 weeks later. The explosion was immediate and comprehensive. Brooke called 147 times that first night. I didn't answer once. She went from sobbing voicemails to angry threats to bargaining to more sobbing. I documented everything for my attorney. Her father showed up at my work on Monday. Security had to escort him out when he wouldn't leave. He was screaming about honor and humiliation, how I destroyed their family's reputation. Rich coming from a man whose daughter was F-king the neighbor in her marital bed. The real satisfaction came from an unexpected source, social media. Brooke's sister had indeed recorded the aftermath and, while she didn't post the actual footage, she went on a massive Facebook rant about fake perfect couples and karma being a beautiful BCH. It went viral in our town. Brooke was tagged by dozens of people she'd smiled at while living her double life. Her job was the next casualty. Turns out the rehabilitation center has a strict moral conduct clause in their employment contracts. Several patients' families complained they didn't want someone of questionable character working with their vulnerable relatives. She was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. She resigned before they could fire her. Wesley's life imploded even faster. Donna's divorce attorney, who she hired the Monday after the party, subpoenaed me for all the footage. I gladly provided everything. Turns out Wesley had been claiming poverty in their divorce proceedings, saying he couldn't afford alimony. The footage of him in my house, drinking my expensive scotch and talking about his sales bonuses, contradicted that claim. Donna took him for everything. His company also got wind of the scandal. Agricultural equipment sales in the Midwest is a relationship business, built on trust and reputation. Several clients specifically requested a different sales rep. He was transferred to a territory in North Dakota. In January. The last I heard, he was living in a studio apartment in Fargo, his truck repossessed, his wages garnished for alimony. Update 2, 6 weeks later. Brooke tried everything to salvage her life. She started a blog about surviving public humiliation and rising from the ashes of betrayal. The irony was lost on her. The comment sections were brutal. Someone even found her old Instagram posts about the sanctity of marriage and loyalty being everything and created a meme that circulated for weeks. She tried to stay with her parents, but her father couldn't look at her. Her mother, the devout Catholic who'd once bragged about her daughter's perfect marriage at church functions, was now the subject of whispered conversations and pitying looks. They asked her to find somewhere else to stay after 2 weeks. Her sister took her in temporarily but made it clear it wasn't permanent. I heard through mutual friends that they fought constantly, with her sister repeatedly saying, "You had everything and you threw it away for what? A sleazy salesman who couldn't even keep his first marriage together?" The legal proceedings were swift. The prenup we'd signed, at her father's insistence, ironically, protected my premarital assets, which included the house I'd inherited from my grandfather. She got her retirement account, her car, and half the joint savings, which wasn't much since I'd stopped contributing overtime pay months earlier. No alimony, given the documented infidelity. She tried to contest it, claiming emotional distress and public humiliation. My attorney responded with the full footage and audio transcripts. Her attorney dropped her as a client. Update 3, 3 months later, present day. I'm sitting in my new apartment, a converted loft near the airport. I can watch planes take off and land from my balcony. There's something therapeutic about it. Machines that follow rules, that respond predictably, that don't betray you if you maintain them properly. The house sold quickly. I priced it to move and use the profits to pay off all debts and invest the rest. I'm actually in a better financial position now than when I was married. Turns out, Brooke's shopping habits and self-care expenses were bleeding me more than I realized. Work has been interesting. My coworkers treat me with a mixture of awe and caution. One called me savage and another said I was the coldest motherfucker alive, but they all agreed they'd have wanted to do the same thing. My boss, a divorced woman who'd been cheated on, gave me a raise and said, "Good for you." Most men would have just cried into their beer. I've been in therapy, not because I regret anything, but because I wanted to understand how I missed the signs for so long. The therapist said something interesting. You didn't miss them. You documented them. You just waited until you had enough evidence to ensure total victory. That's not missing signs, that's tactical patience. Dating isn't on my radar yet. Trust is a funny thing. Once you've seen someone you loved capable of such calculated deception, you realize anyone could be performing. But I'm oddly at peace with that. I've learned to trust myself, my instincts, my ability to protect myself. Brooke sent one last letter through her attorney last week. A long, rambling thing about forgiveness and moving forward, how we'd both made mistakes, how public humiliation wasn't justice. I had my attorney respond with a simple message: no contact means no contact. Further attempts will be considered harassment. I heard she moved to another state, supposedly staying with a college friend, trying to rebuild. She deleted all social media, changed her phone number, essentially disappeared. Good. That's what you do when you've been exposed, you hide. Wesley apparently couldn't handle North Dakota. Last update from Donna, who sent me a thank you card with a gift certificate to an expensive steakhouse. He quit his job and moved back in with his parents in Ohio. 36 years old, living in his childhood bedroom. Karma's a BCH. Her parents haven't spoken to me since that night, which is fine. They raised the woman who thought she could deceive me and get away with it. Their judgment means nothing to me. Some people still say I went too far. That I should have handled it privately, maintained everyone's dignity. Those people have never felt the specific pain of being betrayed by someone you trusted completely. They've never had to smile at dinner while knowing your spouse was F-king someone else in your bed hours earlier. They've never heard their partner laugh about what a fool you are. I didn't just want Brooke to lose me. I wanted her to lose everything. Her reputation, her job, her family's respect, her comfortable life, her future. I wanted the consequences to be so severe that she'd think about them every single day for the rest of her life. Mission accomplished. The thing about being an aviation mechanic is you learn that when something is fundamentally broken, you don't patch it up and hope for the best. You remove it completely and replace it with something functional. That's what I did with my marriage, my life, my entire existence. No regrets. No second thoughts. No what ifs. Just the satisfaction of knowing that when someone tried to play me for a fool, I didn't just flip the board, I burned the entire F-King game to the ground. And I'd do it again. Final edit. Since this has blown up more than expected, let me address some common questions. Yes, it's legal to record in your own home in my state. I checked with an attorney before installing anything. No, I don't feel bad about the collateral damage. Her parents raised an entitled liar. Wesley's ex-wife deserved to know the truth. Everyone else was just witnessing the natural consequences of their actions. Yes, I'm in therapy. Not because I'm traumatized, but because I want to make sure I can trust again someday. The therapist says I'm doing remarkably well. No, I wouldn't have taken her back under any circumstances. The moment I saw that first video, she was dead to me. Everything after that was just logistics. For those saying violence would have been justified, no. Violence would have given her victim status. This way, she's just the woman who got caught and exposed. There's no redemption narrative for that. For the men asking for advice, document everything. Control your emotions. Plan meticulously. Execute flawlessly. And never, ever show your hand until you're ready to destroy everything. For the women saying I'm a monster, I'm the monster your actions created. Don't want to be publicly humiliated? Don't F other men in your husband's bed. I'm closing my inbox now. Moving on with my life. If you see a guy at an airport bar, drinking bourbon and watching planes with a slight smile on his face, buy him a drink. He might have a story to tell. But probably not. The best revenge is a life well lived, and I'm too busy living mine to dwell on the past. Gary out. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.